Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jade and I'm here to help you grow your online presence and build a profitable business. Today's video is going to be a bit of a chill one. I just wanted to jump on here and talk about a few things that I feel like people need to know when they're going through the process of trying to grow their Instagram channel. I'm hoping that by listening to this, I don't know, you might feel seen, you might feel heard, you might just feel a bit better, because it's something that I feel myself wanting to tell people on a regular basis. And when that happens, I know I need to make a YouTube video about it because I've got to find a way to tell people at scale. So here we are. Let's just get straight to it. The first thing, and one of the most important things that I feel like people don't necessarily tell you when you're trying to grow on Instagram, but also something that people desperately need to hear, right? It is okay if your growth is slow. Not only is it okay, but it is completely normal. And if anything, if I'm honest, it's expected. And I feel like this is imperative for me to say this now more than ever, because we're currently going through this time on Instagram where people are blowing up. And it's incredible because that used to be such a difficult thing for people to achieve. Like back in the day, it was difficult to actually blow up on Instagram, right? However, because of recent changes that Instagram have purposely made to their platform to make it easier for small creators to blow up, for example, introducing Reels, because of these changes, people are starting to grow quicker. They're getting more traction. And what that also means is that you're starting to see a lot of headlines which sound something like this. I gained 50,000 followers in 1 month. I gained 10,000 followers in a day. All of those kind of headlines, which I'm not saying are a bad thing. Like if you've actually managed to achieve those things within that time scale, that's incredible and it gives you credibility. So from a creator's point of view, I get why people use those headlines. However, what those headlines can do on occasion is make people think that they should be growing quicker than they actually are. So sometimes I work with people who are like, my growth is so slow, I'm only gaining 20 followers a day. That is good. That is a good growth. If you are at a place where you are losing 10 followers a day, but you're gaining 30, which means that overall you're growing by 20 followers a day, that is good. You are growing. That is growth. But if you're watching this and you're thinking, okay, that's me, I am growing, but not as quickly as I would like, I want you to ask yourself why you want so badly to grow quicker. So you might have a great answer to that. I'm not saying that there's no good answer, but there is a lot of power in really forcing yourself to think about it. If you're saying, I want to be growing quicker because I want to work with brands, well, I'm here to tell you that you're probably in a position where you can start working with brands now. And if you want more information and more coaching from me about how you can work with brands and stuff like that, I recommend checking out my membership program, The Creators Club. I'll put a link in the description. But the point I'm trying to make is you might already have enough followers to start working with brands, but you're holding yourself back because you've given yourself this fictional target that you need to reach before you can start pitching to them. And a lot of the time, that's just simply not true. Or you might be saying, well, I'm a business owner and I can't get sales. I can't start selling to my audience until I've reached 1,000 followers. That's not true. You can start selling to your audience before you've reached 1,000 followers. It's about the quality of your audience, not the quantity, okay? So I'm not saying that there's no good reason to want to grow quicker. Of course there is, but I want you to really get to grips with what that reason is, because a lot of the time it will make you realize, like, actually, it's okay for me to not grow by 1,000 followers every day. You can actually start moving towards your goals and these other things you want to do with your platform now, and you don't need to wait to be growing at this exponential rate. The next thing that I feel like people desperately need to know when they're trying to grow their Instagram account is that you need a scheduling tool. And I say this all the time, but no one posts live anymore. When I say post live, what I mean is like getting your phone, taking the photo, or maybe not even taking the photo, just finding a photo in your gallery, queuing it, writing a caption, and then sharing it. Honestly, me even just saying that process makes me want to like break out in hives. The reason why this stresses me out so much is because the idea of coming up with the content that you want to share and writing this great caption just on the spot and sharing it to your profile at the right time when your audience is online, engaging with them beforehand and getting all of that right, like nailing all of those elements of your post is wild to me. That is such a difficult thing for you to do. But not only that, but if that's the way that you manage your Instagram account, you have to go through that process every day. So you're putting yourself through that process of coming up with content and coming up with a caption and all of this stuff every day. I just couldn't think of anything worse. There's no way I could do it. So what I do is I batch create everything. I schedule my content about a month in advance, and that's not just on Instagram, that's also on YouTube. And I like to use a tool called AGORAPULSE to schedule all of my content. So if you're not familiar with AGORAPULSE, it's this incredible social media management tool. It's not just for Instagram, it's for a bunch of different channels actually. And it's super, super powerful. It has loads of different features to it. So I'm actually gonna bring it up so you can have a look at what it looks like on the back end. So AGORAPULSE have a bunch of different features. The main feature that I like to use is the inbox feature because it basically collates all of the comments I get under my posts, but also my direct messages, so that I'm able to respond to them on my laptop in a far more formulated way. If you're someone who owns an Instagram account which is managed by multiple people, you're also able to actually assign messages to other people for them to respond to. So if you have a team who work on your accounts, this platform will be super useful to you. I'm not quite at that level yet, so it's still me. So when you get a DM response from me and stuff like that, it's actually me. It's me scrolling through here and working on it. Obviously at the minute, this is all blocked out. And also you can see that there's 99 plus messages on here. So I'm not gonna pretend like I'm super on top of things, but the point is that I have the tool to help make this whole responding to people's messages process a lot easier. There's also a social listening tool where you can follow specific hashtags and look at what people are sharing about it. I have one which is Instagram marketing, a general one, but I also have We Side Hustle, which was my previous brand name. So I like to keep tabs on who's using that hashtag just so I can engage with them and just also make sure that they know that I'm not called We Side Hustle anymore. And also it tells you your mentions and stuff like that. So before I go to my scheduling list, I just want to show you like my two other favorite parts of it. So my other favorite part is fans and followers. So what this tool does is it pulls together a list of people who regularly engage with your content. And if you followed my content before, you know that I'm a big fan of really knowing who your advocates are. So those are the people who follow you, but who really support your channel, right? So I like to know who they are, and I like to make sure that I'm keeping tabs on them and engaging with them, because to me, they're the most important part of my channel. So this feature on AGORAPULSE allows me to do this seamlessly, because it's literally going to give me a list of people who are actively engaging with my content. So I love that. And then here, of course, is the reporting session. Like here's a bit where it shows my audience growth. Don't worry, this isn't actually zero. It just hasn't counted my new followers from that date yet. And when you scroll down, you'll get a bunch more information like my engagement, my user activity, my impressions, and all of that amazing stuff. And it also shows me my hashtag interactions, so which hashtags I use and how many interactions I get from them. And yeah, a bunch more information about my audience, where they're located and stuff like that. So if you go to this section, it will show you my publishing calendar. This is how I schedule content. I'm really sorry, but I always remove the content that I have scheduled, just to have this thing about, you know, ruining the surprise. But essentially you can see here the content that I've previously scheduled, including my stories. So it has my stories, it has my actual posts and stuff like that. And then here, when I want to schedule a new piece of content, I just press the schedule button. I add my media, whether it's a video, whether it's a photo. I add my hashtags. I've got groups of hashtags here, which I can just use. And also once that's done, it will generate a preview and I can decide how I want to schedule it. There's also a few different options on the bottom where you can either publish the post straight away, you could add it to a queue. So when you do that, it basically means that you queue a bunch of content, and once one of those posts have gone live, the next one in that queue will go live like a day after that, and then the next one will go live like a day after that. So it's a different way of posting, or you can schedule your content, which is what I usually pick. And you can also see that at the top you have a bunch of different options for different platforms that you can also schedule content for. And that is how I schedule content using AGORAPULSE. So I spend one full day every single month scheduling my content. And what I also tend to do is review my schedule on AGORAPULSE on a weekly basis moving forward. And what that allows me to do is not only pre-schedule everything, write all my captions in batches, make sure that all my content is going out at the right time, make sure I'm talking about the right thing. It just makes the whole process and the quality of my content so much better. But also by reviewing my schedule on a weekly basis, I can make sure that what I'm sharing is topical. And if a new update has just landed or there's something else that I need to share and talk about on my profile, I can add that to my schedule as well. So honestly, scheduling content on Instagram is imperative. And I will go so far to say that there is not one successful Instagram account out there, not one successful Instagram account which does not use a scheduling tool to schedule their content. I will literally go so far as to say that. So if you feel overwhelmed and you feel like you are struggling to grow because you can't be consistent and you're not using a scheduling tool, you are missing a trick. Okay, I will of course put a link to AGORAPULSE in the description of this video so that you can check it out and get familiar with the interface. Hi guys, it's Jade from the future here. I just wanted to interrupt this video to tell you about AGORAPULSE's brand new podcast series. It's called Confessions of a Social Media Manager. Now, they've developed this podcast specifically to help you learn about social media management from some of the biggest names in the industry. So some of their upcoming guests include people from Canva, people from V&A Museum, Trini London, like the list goes on. So the podcast is now live. I'll put a link in my description so that you can give it a listen. I've already listened to all the episodes that they've already uploaded to this date. It's incredible. I'm sure you're gonna love it. So be sure to check it out on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, whatever your preferred platform is for listening to podcasts, it will be available. As I mentioned, I'm going to put some links in my description. Another thing that I don't feel like people talk about that much when it comes to growing or following it on Instagram is the subject of haters. You are going to receive hate if you establish an online presence. It doesn't matter how funny you are, how likable you are, how much value you're giving online. It does not matter. There will be someone out there who will share some kind of hateful comment with you. And in all honesty, I truly believe that when you get proper hateful comments, not just negative feedback, but actual hateful comments, they're not sharing those comments because they actually dislike you. They're sharing those comments because they've got something going on in their own life, and that is reflecting in their actions. What people have to say about you, especially online when they don't know you, is a reflection of themselves versus a reflection of you, okay? And I wanted to make sure that I differentiated between negative feedback, so someone just saying, hey, your sound quality is rubbish, versus an actual hate comment of someone being like, oh, I hate your accent, you know? Both comments that I've had in the past, but there's a clear difference between the two. And when it comes to the hateful comments, you've got to know, first of all, that it's okay for you to be annoyed by it. It's okay to get angry and look at that and be like, that's actually really annoying, right? Anyone who tells you that they're never bothered by them are probably lying. It's okay to be annoyed by it. However, it's also super important that you realize that their comments do not define your reality. Someone saying that they hate my accent doesn't mean that my accent is bad. Their opinion is not my reality. I actually quite like my accent. So their opinion is not my reality, right? And when you make that mindset shift, you'll realize that receiving those hateful comments actually becomes a lot easier. And whilst you're still going to allow yourself to be annoyed by it, you actually notice that you're getting annoyed a lot less often. And when you do get annoyed, it doesn't really last for very long. So it is something that I just urge you to start preparing yourself for now, because the bigger your audience, the more hate you're going to get. And that is just the nature of the online world, unfortunately. Another thing that I think is really important that people know is that one size does not fit all. So you might hear a tip from me on how to grow on Instagram, and you might see all these comments under this tip saying like, oh my God, I tried this, it worked super well, thank you so much. And then you might try it and it might not work for you. And that is okay. Right, I cannot stress this enough. It's okay for one tip to work for someone else and for it not to work for you. Your channel and your audience is unique. And what my job is, and anyone else within my space, is to give you all the ideas and the tips that you could possibly need for you to test and try it out on your channel. So the next time you listen to an Instagram growth tip video or something like that, I want you to listen to it with the mindset of, okay, this is something for me to try, rather than listening to it from the mindset of, okay, this will work. We don't know if it's going to work yet. The point is that we're giving you the tools and the information that you need to give it a go and to see if it works. And if it doesn't work, try one of the other tips. One of them is bound to generate some results for you. But it's just really important to know that one size doesn't fit all. And this actually leads on to my next point, which is all around comparison. And the basic thing that I feel like people need to know when they're trying to grow on Instagram is that comparison is the thief of joy. Is that the phrase? Comparison is a thief of joy, or the thief of joy? You get the point I'm trying to make. So have you ever looked at another account and thought, what's going on? My content is just as good as theirs, but they're growing quicker than I am. They're working with more brands than I am. They're making more sales than I am. Whatever it is that you're trying to achieve through your Instagram page, they're building a better community. They're getting more engagement, like whatever it is. If you've ever noticed that another account is similar to yours, a similar size, but they seem to be growing at a faster rate than yours, you've got to stop comparing yourself to them, because you have no idea what you are up against. You have no idea what they're doing. Maybe they've worked out a really great paid strategy and actually they're spending thousands of pounds every month promoting their posts. Maybe they're using bots, or maybe they're using engagement groups, and that's why their engagement is super, super high. Maybe they have a famous friend who is promoting their page for them. We literally have no idea what tactics they're using, whether legit or not legit. We don't know what they're doing in order to achieve the growth or the engagement that they're achieving. So comparing ourselves to them is completely pointless. We've all got to focus on ourselves and what's working for us and what's working for our audience. Comparing yourself to someone else is not going to help you grow. Okay, so the last thing that I really feel like people need to know when they're trying to grow on Instagram and people don't tell you is that it is a continuous learning process. And I think maybe this is more so the case now in this day and age than it used to be, but Instagram is developing and changing at a rapid rate. And for you to really make the most of all of the new changes and the new features that they are developing, you've got to invest your time to actually learning and staying up to date with the platform. Now, luckily for you, there's people like me who have built an entire business around providing all that information that you need for you. Like, if you subscribe to me and you have your notification bells on, there's a big chance that you are always going to know about the new features on Instagram and how to utilize them, because that is a huge content strand for my YouTube channel. However, if you're not someone who is subscribed to me or anyone else in my space, or you don't follow anyone else within my space on Instagram and you have no desire to, that's totally fine. But you've got to make the active effort to seek out information on a regular basis. If you don't follow us, so therefore we're not bringing it to you, you've got to make sure that you're going out there and you're looking for information. So going on Google and typing Instagram updates every now and again to see what's going on. Subscribing to mailing lists, like I have a mailing list which will tell you a bunch of different updates, but there's also ones from huge media publications like Social Media Today, Business Insider. Subscribing to platforms like that so that you are regularly receiving news about Instagram and the changes that are coming to it. And one of the biggest things I always recommend you do is to follow Adam Mosseri. I will put a link to his Instagram in my description. Whilst you're at it, I'd recommend following the creators account. But these two Instagram accounts are among the first accounts to announce any new feature being developed by Instagram. The creators account is specifically designed to share information for content creators on Instagram, and Adam Mosseri is the head of Instagram, and he is just incredible at being super transparent and disclosing what's going on with the app as and when he can, right? So if you don't want to follow me or anyone else in my space, please follow them. So that's it for today's video. I really hope you found that useful. If you want to check out AGORAPULSE, which I 100% recommend that you do, there is a link in my description below. Please check it out. It is an incredibly powerful tool, not just for scheduling your content, but also for managing your social media platforms in general. If you found this video useful, which I really hope you did, I recommend checking out this video. It's my most recent Instagram updates video, so it will give you all the information you need about the most recent changes which are coming or have already come to Instagram's platform. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to see you in my next video.